Hello, everyone. So this is Juxtaposed Quarantine Series. We are in conversation with Mr. Srikanth Reddy and Nilesh Kumar. They're the principal architects to 23 Degrees Design Shift. The idea of the conversation today is to discuss about their work, their journey, and also throw some light on during and post COVID-19 life for architects and designers. So, Mr. Srikanth and Nilesh are principal architects of 23 Degrees Design Shift. They're the architect designer behind some of the most prominent F&B spaces, which we always go to on a daily basis. Fat Pigeon, Broadway, Dirty Martini, Design are some of their most prominent works. They graduated from JNFAU, did their bachelor's there with work experience in reputed architect firms like Surya Kakani and Amaya, with multiple awards already in their pocket for many of their projects. Uh, so I'm going to start off the conversation without. So welcome both Srikanth and Nilesh. We are glad to have you on the conversation. This is the first of the series of conversations which we are planning to do. So I'll just, I think, start off straight away with your journey with the field. So especially every architect or even a designer, they have a story before they start. Like it might be from childhood, or it might be from school, or someone would have told that I'm doing architecture or I'm doing this design field, and it interests you and you get into it. So what was your uh, you know moment where you decided that, okay, this is a field which I want to pursue, this is something I want to get into? How did that happen?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Akshay.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you, Juxtapose, for having us here today. Uh, we are talking about journey, right? We are talking about where we started. For me, it has started quite early on in the school days when I used to spend a lot of time sketching things. I used to spend a lot of time sketching the objects that are right in front of me. And one day, my mom guided me towards architecture. That's how it has started for me. So, yeah.
Hi, hi everyone. Hi Akshay. Yeah. So as it's almost the same journey what Srikanth is also talking about. My dad is a drawing teacher, so that's how my interest towards drawing and painting was more because he used to teach us at home, and that's what I little used to good was good at drawing and painting. And his ambition was he couldn't get into fine arts, the JNTU School of Fine Arts at that particular time. So he wanted me to get into School of Fine Arts. And when we have come here to get the admission in there, we met an architect who is a far off relative of ours. Then he suggested, why do fine arts where you can do architecture? It's almost because you have a degree course here, and the prospects of it is more. So that's where I got into architecture. So otherwise,
Though,
if I couldn't meet that architect, then I am sure I would be into fine arts painting department.
though we know that there is something called architecture that we can take up, but to realize what it actually is has taken quite a lot of time. I think it's only after first year it opened up a lot of it gave a lot of clarity about the entire profession. But otherwise, until then, it is a profession where you design buildings, where you create spaces, nothing more than that.
So for
So,
yeah, because for people it was like, you can sketch well, you can do drawings well, so architecture is good for you. So that's where the first basic notion of anyone is. But it is not just painting, or it is not just sketching. It is far beyond. It is what we have learned after we got into
uh,
architecture.
in the days when we joined, I think there's not much of information available for us. The internet was not this open. I think these days it's very easy for kids to get into the depth of the subject before they make a choice.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting that both of you have a family influence in it, because if you compare present generations of people, even now students who are enrolling, there's I wouldn't say conflict, but there's still a lot of skepticism towards architecture. Like, people don't know much about it even now,
Mm-hmm.
so they're not sure how stable of a field it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like Nilesh sir told, it's perfect. Like, you always have to talk to someone in the field or in the education system to really understand what the field is about, and if you're equipped to deal with it. But yeah, I think it's like super interesting that both of you had family influence to get into it. Like, I don't think the same thing can be said right now. They're like very different right now. The influences are different. Like you said, social media and like internet online is much more accessible for everyone. Like, you
Yeah.
can get in touch with so many people. The fact that we are having a video call right now to talk to people about it also, like, proves that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Uh,
very true.
Sir,
That's very
I also noticed that you started talking about, you actually got into the second question I had already in the conversation, so it's like easier to transition into that. So I wanted to talk about college, like, where does architecture education stand, and how did it help? Like, how did it shape both of you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you already started talking about, only when you get into first year do you slowly start understanding what the field is about, and towards the end of first year you kind of have an idea that what you're getting into. So, like, please elaborate if you can.
Yeah, for us, for me at least, I come, the times that we have joined architecture, I have joined architecture. There's not much of information in internet to know about it in the first place, as I told you, and also that the first year of architecture has started giving me opening up things for me in architecture, making it much more clear for me what the entire profession is all about. So it was very interesting for me. It was very something that is very new to me that I haven't known, uh, and every day used to be very exciting for me in first year. But I think college can only introduce you to the industry, to the field, to the profession, to the subject. It largely depends on the student, how he takes it forward, irrespective of which college he is in. See, back then we didn't know, we didn't even have any information of which is good college to go for in architecture, which is not so good college. So today, I think once a student decides to get into architecture, somebody decides to get into architecture, he would also get ample amount of information about which college he should get into, right? And I think that ways colleges play a major role in architect's life today because he makes a choice. Back then, we didn't even have such information. So college is where we got introduced to this whole thing and everything was exciting for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And preparing you to the field, to the industry, I don't think happens much in the college, but college definitely helps you grow up, and be prepared to get into the market. If you are somebody uh, having ideas about being an entrepreneur, your actual foundation starts in college about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. For me, especially coming from a small town, who have done all his studies in a small town and getting into architecture. So, college, first of all, for me, was which taught me how to speak. I was very introvert because coming to a small town, so you don't tend to speak much, interact with people in your schools and colleges. But architecture, there are different, varied people coming from different states coming together, where you are given assignments where you have to speak out, so you have to express yourself. So that's where the learning is. What I know and what I can tell out, speak out, was more important for me, where I could speak, I could communicate. So that was more important for me in college, which happened in the first year, where I used to be very scared to talk. But slowly, the college taught us, or most of the one, to communicate. So college, as Srikanth was telling, it was always told that architecture is never taught. You have to learn it. So the college never taught us, but it made us equipped to learn, to grasp things. So you can go out and take in things where you learn, so that what do you call, inquisitiveness of learning new things, seeing new things. So that has college has given that to us, especially me, where you could question, okay, what is this, what I like, what I dislike. So those ones are the major things what we have learned.
I think that's a very interesting take on that, sir. Like, I frankly didn't think about it that way. Like, the way you put it out, telling that, you can't be taught architecture, you have to learn. And also that it also becomes a subconscious part of your daily life. Like, it just gives you the tools enough so that you become more aware of things around you. I frankly, I mean, it's the most obvious thing to think about, but I don't think many people think about it that way. Like,
That's
you also
the
have a lot of like criticism for the education system, which I'm not completely okay with, because at the end of the day, that's also shaping us to be who we are. It's a part of everybody's journey. Like, if you look at it that way, it becomes a part of your, you know, getting to make you good enough with your tools so that you can go ahead in the field and, eventually make it in the field. It gives you enough tools to do that.
Yeah, that's the first thing that we were all told in our college. At least the moment you get into the college, lecturers and seniors, all of them used to tell us that we are not here to teach you. It is your business to learn or not to learn, right?
Yeah.
And I think it stands good no matter if you are in a best college in architecture in this world. It depends on how much you want to learn and how much you want to progress there, right? College really can't inculcate that into you forcefully. Yeah.
I think that's the reason we also see, transition between colleges from good group of students coming out. It's not
Hmm.
just down to the infrastructure or how good a
Yes.
college is or how great the faculty are. You have these groups of and pools of students who are coming out, which keeps changing. Like, one
It
year
keeps
it's one
changing.
college, 1 year it's a college from somewhere else. I,
Yes.
I think it's much more complex than that. Like how you pointed out, it's down to
Yeah.
how we are also internally.
When
May
college puts in all the effort to call practicing professionals to interact with students, if college maintains a really good collection of books in the library, and if college keeps exposing students to what's happening in the industry constantly, that actually helps somebody who's interested to learn. It helps him, it makes it easier for him, but it should primarily it should be there in the student to go for it first.
and the colleges are majorly it is more important for the colleges to make student realize what they are interested in and what their strengths are, as in, because architecture is not just designing buildings, it is wholesome as a design. So there are
Correct.
many good colleges which will make kids realize that what they are interested in. Few people are good at furniture, good people are good at arts. So you see people diverse out in different fields which they are interested once they come out of college. Not all of them are
Yeah.
only into
Correct.
design buildings or into total architecture. People go into writing, people go into many different things which is related to design, but they're not all pushed towards only architecture. So I guess college makes that, and good colleges makes that.
Yeah. I think we have, like, pretty much covered the majority of what colleges stand for and how it shapes ourselves. Now I'm going to talk about the next step, which is like I think a kind of a scary step, especially for students. It was very scary for me to like get into the process of making portfolios and sending it out to internships, to different firms for internships, and that whole process of waiting for callbacks, and like that is when you know where you stand. Like it's almost like that's the actual report card. It's not your marks in college. It's your internship portfolios, and where you get in is your actual report card of where you stand in the field of architecture, at least in India. So how was that like? Both of you have worked in like very reputed firms, very different
No,
kind. One is Surya Kakani's and one is Ameya Architects. So how did that happen?
yeah, for us, during our time, portfolios were not as fancy as what we see them today.
Hmm.
It was largely through reference of seniors asking us to apply there, go there, or directly talking to the architects over the call, or going and meeting them and asking a chance. uh, except for few offices where there used to be people waiting for the opportunity. Most of the firms, it used to be not this way that we see today. Now, today, portfolios are very vibrant, very people spend a lot of time preparing the portfolio. Portfolio talks a lot today about that person. Back then, it wasn't like this for us. So, yeah, but getting into a good firm for professional practice is very important.
Yeah. So as he was saying, we never did any portfolios as such. As in, I still don't have any portfolio what I have done till now.
You
In
don't have a
my
resume also.
Yeah, like I didn't made a resume till now in my life. I didn't made any portfolio of mine till. So I used to work with an architect here as a part time as a part time job there. So he referred to Surya Kakani that there is one kid here who wants to join. He was planning to join somewhere else, but I referred. I seriously want to come and work with you. So that's where I have joined Surya in
Hmm.
Ahmedabad. And me and Srikant, we have a story that we both were supposed to join there with Surya, but Srikant fell ill with some
Yeah,
malaria,
I was advised
serious.
not to stay out of Hyderabad. So,
Yeah, so that's where he dropped down, and I had to go alone there at Surya's office.
yeah, sometimes we think that if we both made it there to Surya, not just Nilesh, then probably we wouldn't have come back to Hyderabad. Probably.
We would have stayed back
It's,
there in Ahmedabad.
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of makes
sometimes
sense. The ecosystem there is really, really good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
23, 20, a part of 22 degrees being where it is down to you getting malaria.
Yes, exactly.
Even though it kind of sounds cruel, it's amazing.
So after the training is over, we started working. I was working with Amaya Design with Siddharth sir and Harita ma'am, and Nilesh was continuing with Surya Kakani. And after 5 years, I believe we both thought that we'll work for certain period of time to gain experience. Before we start off, we were pretty clear in the college days that we both will work together. During the college days itself.
So we decided that in
So
the first year that we'll work
first year,
together.
first year of architecture. So we were continuing our work, pursuing the experience that we wanted. And after 5 or 6 years of experience, I started calling Nilesh ki come down. It's time, come down. Nilesh used to keep pushing it. Ki, okay, fine, I'll tell Surya today. I'll tell Surya tomorrow. At one point, we started here.
Yeah, as your question, the training period is a very important and crucial time for any student because that's where you come out of your own understanding of things and you see what reality is, that what happens out uh, in reality. So, I guess it's a time where many people realize what they are doing is good, bad, or they can improve or to learn more, because that's a learning platform. The college is a total different learning platform for you, and then the training period is a total different learning platform, because you see things happening live on site. The designs what you have done on paper, which you regularly do, you see that happening on site, things shaping up, so you realize how things can happen.
Hmm.
And for there's something that probably if students are watching this, I'd like to tell them whoever are preparing their portfolios to apply for internship, right? Uh, I can say at least 90% of the portfolios that we get are elaborate. They are like 30 pages or 40 pages, amongst which at least 20 pages are group work, which keeps repeating in all their portfolios. So one is that. Two, uh, most of the last pages has a lot of photographs that they click, right? And the first 2 3 pages has a lot of their personal information. But I come across really few portfolios which has their the works that they did in the college, which are laid out very clear that we get the gist of it by just a glimpse of it, right? Not really many portfolios are made to make sense and made to convey what they are about in this, what their aspirations are in this profession. Most of them are made to look beautiful, colors, presentation and organization, sheet organization, this, that, and all. I'm not saying that's not important. That's important to catch the attention at the first go, but your portfolios need to be crisp, clear, and communicate straight to the point than having a lot of stuff that we really don't look into, just scroll the pages up, right?
Yeah, I think what you put out is uh, extremely important. Like you said, the percentage of portfolios which come out now are exactly like that. People try putting in as much content as they can, and it's
Yeah,
not about their own personality.
yeah,
Uh, uh, they don't stand out as, okay, this is the identity of this person. I think like you said, identity is very very important. Like
very
you
important.
should be able to visualize what kind of a character that person is and how they could add to your establishment or home.
Exactly. Now, we don't look at taking in trainees to add value to the work that we do, but they should be, we need to find people who are at least aligned with their professional commitments, and all that gets communicated through their portfolio, right? If I don't get that sense and confidence on a person looking at his portfolio, then even if that person has good enough talent in him, good commitments in him, and if his portfolio doesn't interpret, that, doesn't show up that side of him, then we just don't call him, right?
Hmm.
So whenever, even after shortlisting portfolios, the first question, the basic questions that they face in the interview, physical interview in our office, are all the basics.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Uh, I actually have another important question related to how students should react to the present situation we are in right now. But I think
Mhm.
we'll push that for later on in the talk, because we are concentrating on that for at the later stage.
Mhm.
I'll like quickly get to the next part of it. So I think you're very elaborate about talking about the internship stage, and you also shared your personal experiences about how and when you decided to, tell that, okay, we have got to come together and start our own practice now. So next question is exactly about that. So I actually heard a funny story through sources. You obviously know my source, but
Mhm.
that you guys started on Jan 1st, 2010, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So how did was it like? a party-related call before that? Because it sounds to be Jan 1st. Or was it like a resolution? Like, was it like you wanted to start off fresh with the new year? How did that happen? And also
Not,
more specifically, I'm so sorry to like cut you off,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then also specifically, like one person feeling that is fine. Like probably, sir, if you were working at Amaya, you would have been like, okay, now is the time to come out. I've learned as much as I can. Maybe it's time I start putting my identity out. But it's very difficult for multiple people to be on the same page at the same time because both of you are partners, you
Hmm.
and Neeraj sir. So how did both of you decide at the same time that yeah, now is the time you've got to start off?
Um, I would say it's not pinpointed at a particular time period that we want to start off. We parted our ways after college to work for different architects and gain experience. In this whole journey of gaining experience, we've been talking about coming back after 5 years or 6 years to start off, right? It's not pinpointed that we would start off at that particular date. So after 5 years, I think 2010, 2009, we started calling each other. We started talking about coming back and starting together. And it took its own course of time for us to come out of where we are working and come together and start. So by the time it was December, we guys and bunch of other friends, we all went to Auroville for, regular
Yeah.
meetups for New Year's, and one of the sessions we were talking about it, and we named the firm during that period, and we decided that we'll come back and formally start it up on this particular name. So that's how it started. Otherwise, it's not just a decision made to start at one particular date or time. It took its own course of time for us to come together.
Was
Yeah.
it one of those like uh, very immediate decisions? Like yeah, we are starting now, or like did you give it some time? Maybe like you said, it wasn't a date or anything.
Yeah.
Was it like immediate decision? Is like more of the question.
No, no, no. The decision was taken in 2001 that we'll work together.
So
We
yeah, you
started in
mentioned that.
2010. So,
So that's like super pre-planned. 10 years
yeah,
pre-planning is like
I'm not sure if it works for everyone to stick to one particular decision for 10 years and
yeah,
then start off. But for us, we are lucky it worked out for us.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the first year resolution.
Yeah, but one good thing that happened with us is see there. I would like to put across two, three aspects of starting up uh, own practice. One good thing that happened with us when we both started together is I came with one set of expertise and he came with different set of expertise. I worked on residential projects, healthcare projects, not much, but very few hospitality projects. Yes, in my training days, I worked quite a lot on hospitality projects. Nilesh worked on institutional design and few residential design projects, and when we came together, this experience in different aspects, different genres of design actually helped. But what I would like to put across, suggest to entrepreneurs, young minds who would like to start on their own, is it's just not enough that you're a good designer to start off your own practice. It's just not enough. To be a good designer is one part of it, but I think where we lacked and we took a lot of time to learn all those things is about management, uh, work management, office management, client management, and then also you need to develop good business acumen. This is a profession related to, business of design. It involves money, and you should understand how to conduct business, right? All these things, uh, if I'm not saying that you need to know all these things to start off on your own, but I think you should keep some patience to get exposed to all these aspects before you start your own practice. Otherwise, you would also take a lot of time learning all these things once you start.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So for as he was talking about, as the young entrepreneurs who are coming in, they just start off once they are out of college because they know that they are very good at design. But what happens with the experience? You get confidence. So for us, because Srikanth has worked on big projects, healthcare, he has dealt with big projects, scale wise, complex projects. I dealt with few institutions which are big. So the confidence level of once we came out to take up any project that we can still do it was more important. So that fetched us more projects because we're not under fear that okay, if it's a big project, whether we'll be able to do it or not, whether we'll be able to handle it or not. So we had that confidence that we can do. That had only come up with our experience of 5 years on different scale of projects. So that is more important, is what I feel personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a pool of suggestions for me also. Like even I'm learning so much from this conversation. Even though I do have conversations with both of you once in a while, but this has been like very informative for me also. So uh, yeah, like I mean, getting back to your practice. So once you pass that stage of setting up your practice, and I believe it took you a few years to get more recognized and start being more organized and stable as a firm. It's very
Yes.
natural that it happens that way, and I
Yeah.
believe around that 2014 time is when you kind of broke out and
15.
became as a more mainstream practice in the city, like more recognized in the city, and then eventually you ended up as probably the experts of FNB right now. Like many, you are one of the first names when businesses want to open their FNB pages. If it has to be a bar, restaurant, whatever it is, like especially businesses. So how did that happen? Was it like pre-planned, or you always had the interest of getting into this particular segment? Or I mean, obviously you've done many more segments. You've done institutions, you've done commercial spaces, you've done residential, but like how did this become a very strong point in the practice? How did that uh, journey occur?
See, like most of the young entrepreneurs who starts off in design consultation business, right? Architectural consultation. We also started off with a bunch of residential interiors projects, which are very easy to get. Yeah, which are very easy to get.
Hmm.
But the initial first few years were all about residential interiors projects for us.
Hmm. Hmm.
We specifically choose to get into F&B after a particular point in practice. After 2 3 years, we decided that we need to get into the stream where people go to see our work than we calling people to show our work, right? So because see, we entered into this industry with no contacts. Me and Nilesh, we both are non-locals here. We are not from Hyderabad, so we
Hmm.
don't have the contacts, business contacts or personal contacts in the city when we started. So it's like starting from zero. We both started off our practice with just two laptops and two plastic chairs and one table.
Hmm.
There was no investment pulled into starting up this practice from our side, so we had to build everything from scratch. So that's it's kind of a strategy for us to get into F&B, so that people, market gets to know that we exist. But once we
And
got into F&B, we realized that this is one segment where your artistic side of you can be expressed with not much of problems compared to the other genres of work. Because
Hmm.
there's certain level of freedom given in F&B for an architect compared
Yeah.
to, I think, residential or commercial, or commercial or IT or office spaces are more driven by bylaws. Residential is more driven being client centric. But F&B, we thought, is hospitality, we thought is very, very interesting because it gives a certain amount of freedom for architect to express.
Because residential, you can't experiment with things because it is more a personal space, so you
Correct. Yeah.
can't experiment with it. So but F&B spaces, when it comes to public spaces, you can experiment. There are the client, it is more towards public, so client doesn't have a particular say that I want only this, so you can experiment with material, you can experiment with spaces. So that was good for us. So after working for 2-3 years for a residential segment where wardrobes, kitchens, and wall panels, so those were the only ones. And once we started doing F&B, where we try to experiment with different materials, because in F&B there are 2-3 things. One is time, the other is budgets. So these are the limitations what we generally work with. So when the budgets were low, so that's where the experimentation was high. So we experimented a lot with the projects where there were very less budgets in hand. So our
The
first projects were restaurants which we did as renovations, which only gave us like 10 lakhs, very less budget. So
The entire
then we
project
tried,
cost that much.
yeah. So then we tried experimenting with different material, different techniques. So that got a kick for us, and then we started moving on in the same direction.
these parameters of time and budget that Nilesh is mentioning, to keep up with these things in all the projects, in the projects that you're dealing, it's quite taxing, it's quite difficult compared to probably dealing with clients personality, right? When you're working on residential, you deal with clients personality. I'm not talking about the architects who impose their personality on all the projects, irrespective of what the client is like. There's a big bunch of architects like that, but a sensible architect who's dealing with residential interiors or architecture would tend to understand client's personality and put it forward in the project. But I think we thought at one point we thought that is difficult, but in hospitality, these two, to meet up with these two parameters, right, time and budget, you need you need certain amount of innovation that goes into your thought.
Mm.
Nilesh is talking about experimentation. Yeah, that has to be there. Innovation has to be there, and you need to prioritize where, how do you want to spend your money. That talks a lot about your understanding of the market. A lot of things are tied up to these two aspects when it comes to F&B and hospitality: time and budget. Yeah.
Yeah. Um Yeah, that's actually a lot to take in. The whole
Mm.
process you spoke about, it's extremely interesting. Especially the part where you mentioned that you got into FNB to be more relevant in the field, but organically it turned into a better playground for you to put in all
Yeah.
your thoughts. So that's very interesting. So going ahead, like from the experts of FNB or hospitality segment, more appropriate. How did, like, I think a year ago or something, you cracked an international project in Pattaya, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and that recognition is purely through your work,
Yes.
how you landed that project. So as an outsider, for me, cracking an international project that big is a very, very big deal. Like, to be recognized on the international stage for what you do is not at all easy. Very, very few people end up doing that. So, with entering into the international markets, one question is, uh, uh, how open are you to going international? And also, do you look at this as a repetitive trend going into the future, like for you to explore and expand your markets further, and also uh, a collaboration which you have done recently with Mr. Raghu from Design Hub to expand the scale of your projects also. Uh, Doing large townships to large communities to almost like ACZ scaled projects. So, I mean, that was obviously a conscious call to collaborate with someone like Mr. Raghu, who's extremely experienced in that field. So, I mean, if I want to tie up the entire question, it's about entering into international markets. How do you look at that? The collaborations you have done with Design Hub and also the future of the firm. I'm sure right now you have my vision for the firm because you've been
Yes.
in the firm for so long. So
Yeah.
what is that like?
See, all the while uh, what happened with our industry here, all this while is architects used to travel out. We all used to travel out, and people say exposure to international market, international projects is very, very important.
Hmm.
Um, we all do that. We all travel. We all see projects. We come back, but uh, now the fraternity is so good. The work that is being produced in Indian market is so good that people are looking at hiring Indian architects on international projects, not just in FNB but several
Hmm.
other
Yeah.
projects. So that says that be it uh, be it in India or be it in any other country, the activities are more or less the same. If an Indian architect can take up and successfully do a project in other countries, that means that he knows the activity, he knows the conditions, right? So I think today in globalized market, projects in Hyderabad or projects in Delhi, projects in Thailand, projects in Japan, they all function the same. They all are laid out the same. It's just the
Hmm.
ability of architect that gives him the opportunity to work in different parts of the world. And
Hmm.
coming to the project that we were able to bag, uh, somebody who was trying to set up an F&B space in Thailand has his foothold in Hyderabad as well in India with his other businesses. So he explored at architects who are good at FNB in India, and he saw some of our properties, and then he took the number and called us, right? So I think when somebody is specifically looking at a particular expertise, getting into international markets won't be such a difficult task
Hmm.
if you are there at that level of expertise. And yes, to answer your question, we are quite open to take up projects in the other parts of the world
Hmm.
because we get to learn a lot from every projects here. Also, every day a new project, we learn something or the other, and especially working in other parts of the world, it'll be quite an exposure for us to look at how they conduct their construction, what kind of disciplines go into their process of construction and all that, right? Yeah. And yeah, the other part of your question, collaboration with Raghu, uh, Design Hub,
Hmm.
especially. I think like how the varied experience or the difference in experience of me and Nilesh helped us in our practice. Raghu also comes with a different set of experience. Raghu has worked on large scale residential projects with larger land parcels, bigger constructible areas. So I think for any firm to go to that extent of being able to do such large scale projects, it takes some time for itself. Until and unless you are ready to collaborate with such people who got such experience right away.
Right.
Otherwise, organically, if somebody's firm has to get such experience, they have to go through all that process of doing small scale, mid scale, larger mid scale, and then large scale, which obviously takes some time.
Correct.
So, we have joined hands with Raghu because Raghu comes with such experience of dealing with large scale projects, complex projects. Very efficient. Design Hub is very efficient with their output, and our strength in design and his strength in the aspects that he's good at, both of us coming together is right now giving good results for us. We are working on
Yeah.
multiple projects together: commercial buildings, IT spaces, residential high rise, and villa projects. It's kind of quite successful for us till now. Let's see how it goes forward.
Yeah. It looks like there's only one way forward for you guys. You guys are like reaching the extremes of architecture. It at least
Yeah,
looks like that from the outside.
yeah, but yeah, hope so.
Yeah.
We'll be there soon.
Uh, so these are like more of personal questions for like individually for both of you. One is to Shrikant sir and one is to Nilesh sir. So this is again me talking to Ishwar especially,
Hmm.
finding out about how the process is because I talk to him very often. Since he's a classmate and he works with you guys. So to you, sir, Shrikant sir, the
Yeah.
question is that your core strength in when you deal with projects has
Hmm.
always been like your sense of scale and proportion and core architecture itself
Hmm.
and your constant research about the field and also the current affairs keeping yourself up to date. So uh, like I said, would you say this is like the most prominent part of your personality and your character which defines your designs, or it's much more than that and this is just one aspect of it? Like, can you like elaborate more on that?
Uh, I am not so sure that I can say this is my character, but yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a person who's constantly in search of in pursuit of learning things and trying to know things constantly. So it's like this. I don't follow architects, but I follow works. Right. I,
Right,
I
right,
look
yeah.
into a lot of works. If you ask me, if you show me a building, I would know the building. I would know the details of it. If you ask me the name of architect, I wouldn't be knowing him.
Mm.
Right. So yes, I am always in lookout. I am always in lookout for information regarding the industry. Like you said, current affairs or
Mm.
profession related information. I am always reading. I am always watching some video. Uh, See, the way I conduct my practice, initially when me and Nilesh were together with a very small team of one or two people more, it was largely based on what we perceive things as, as two individuals talking about it and coming to one conclusion and arriving at a design solution. There's hardly any team intervention into it. But after few years, we got into hospitality, and after that, the team started growing. And then within some time, we have formulated a method where you know the very initial discussion about a project, we include our senior team into it, whoever are going to handle that project. So we started
Mm.
this culture of debating and discussions to a certain level possible, except for the projects which has very strict timelines, that we can't really engage the entire process. Otherwise, for projects which has good time given, we are right now into this module of teamwork a lot with senior
Mm.
architects at least.
Mhm.
And I see
You
that
mean senior architects in your firm, right? Like,
sorry.
you mean senior architects in your practice, in your
in our
firm? Yeah.
yeah, in our firm. So for me, for us at least, now we all are in one common platform, saying for us logic and reasoning stands, we give a big platform to logic and reasoning than preconceived ideas for any project as the process goes by. So sense of proportion, scale, all these are tools to achieve what we want to achieve, not want to achieve, or what needs to be done. We always keep saying that in public platforms also we have told, and we believe in this, that we always work for the project than working for client or working for ourselves. Yeah, so I really hope that we do a lot more in this side of the process.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I mean, I think you answered much more than just your personal thoughts. Like in a way, you made it easier for me to. My next question was actually going to be after the personal questions about the team, and
Yeah,
you kind of like put it all together.
yeah.
Neely, sir, this question is for you. Uh, like you said, from childhood interest in art, and like right now you're very prominently involved in sculptures and kinetic elements in your projects, because especially most of the hospitality projects you do, I mean, if we see most of your prominent projects from Fat to Broadway to any of these projects, there are these very strong elements all across the space, which are very unique to the space itself. It's not like you're picking it up from somewhere and putting it. It's got a story to it. And going to the more technical side of it, like how do you work out these kinetic elements? I think it's got to do some engineering to it and also some product design to it. So how did this mixture happen? Because that's a very different side of the project we are talking about. So can you like elaborate more on that?
Basically, towards this started from the college. Not exactly kinetic, but I was more interested on hands-on. As in college also, I used to do more of models because that was more interesting for me. Uh, I like more on hands-on things, work, as in making model, building something. So when this whole thing started, when I used to work with Surya, Surya's office being very open to ideas. So you can go and tell him that I want to do this, and he will give you a chance to do it. Okay, he will also propose that in your project to do it. So when I used to work in Ahmedabad, I was in regular touch with SEPT. I used to go to SEPT very often.
Hmm.
So there, the exposure towards installations, art, uh, that started from there, where I used to see students working on installations, because during their fest, there used to be workshops for them. They used to have their own workshop where they used to do furniture, they used to do installation, they had a metal workshop. So I used to get engaged with them in doing all those works. So that's where my interest started. And then I started searching for different forms of art or installations in which kinetic art and kinetic installations was very interesting to me, because there's a third dimension which added to it is time. So it is not static, it keeps on moving. So that particular interest started. I started researching about it. I proposed few things in my previous office. Surya agreed for it. So that's where my interest had grown a little, and it gave me a confidence that we can still work on it, because there were not too many artists who are working on kinetic. Now there are many artists who are doing in India too, but there were many artists who are doing kinetic abroad. So then when we came back here and when our FNB project started, that's where we started experimenting with these ideas. So we uh, took art as a medium, and we connected with art and architecture and interiors together and started creating our projects. So every project what you see, there's a story behind it, and there's uh, very good, we bind
Connect.
everything, connect, yeah,
Hmm.
we bind everything, the function of it, elements of it, functional elements of it. We connect all these things through art and put it together and create a space. And coming to engineering, it is not exactly that complicated, because our mind always tend to simplify things and see it. So how complicate we do it, but we try to simplify it to the basic elements what we get around, and with which what we can work with, because we are not that equipped with technology. We don't know softwares much. So we just try to see how we can simplify it and localize it, which we can get it done by the local carpenters or fabricators. So in one of the meets also, I told that it is more like a jugaad what we do than engineering part of it. So
But at
that's
least to
how
the
it
user, it
is.
comes out as a very, like, for example, your moving installation and design, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not like, I've frankly not seen that in any other, hospitality or F&B space. Like,
yeah,
that's very fresh. And it seems like it's been done by not architect professionals, but other professionals who are more experienced with that kind of moving installations. So at least
yeah,
for a user, it feels like it's more complicated than you're putting it out to be. But yeah, it's good to know that it's like it also gives many youngsters and many people hope that it's something we can get into, and it's like we don't need to be fearful of it.
yeah.
Uh,
Once
like just dive
you,
into it if you have the interest more than anything, because your interest towards it is also very rooted from college, and you held on to it, and it's now implemented in the practice also.
yes, true.
So I think, like, quickly moving on, we are going to address like the big elephant in the room, which is the COVID-19 situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think we have covered a lot of your practice and how you guys work, and you've been very patient in explaining, everything elaborately. So thank you so much for that. Before we get into the
Yeah,
COVID-19 talk.
our
Uh,
pleasure. Yeah.
yeah and like right now we are going to concentrate on, many people have questions, everybody is speculating about how the COVID-19 situation is going to play out for the field. Some people are fearful of it, some people are more hopeful of it, and many people are telling that this is going to change everything, and some people are not giving it enough, like, let's take it as it comes, and it's not as bad as it looks.
Hmm.
So diving straight into the questions, first is, how is your company coped with it? Like, obviously the work from home situation, and the projects stopping, and coordinating with your team, because now you have an extended team of people with also your collaborations, and you have wide variety of projects everywhere, and also the international market. So you can pretty much address everything. And being a young firm also, I am guessing it's you guys are a little more technology relevant than conventional architecture and design firms in and around the country. So how has that been so far? Like, how are you coping with it?
See, initially when this thing, the entire COVID-19 thing uh, started being a epidemic, and now it has become a pandemic. Initially, we were also quite hopeful that the world would control it before it becomes pandemic. But now that it is pandemic, the facts are right in front of us. What's happening, what's not happening. But I think world is almost prepared to handle this now. Very soon, I think we'll see quite a lot of relaxations coming up in the communities, and people will be able to get back to normal pretty soon. I hope so. But for sure, see, this is something that can be controlled with one good vaccine coming out into the market. Everything will get back to normal.
Right.
Uh, Now that the world is already experienced in making vaccines for several outbreaks like this, I'm sure we'll be back to normal very soon. But for us, initially we tried working from home, uh, but very soon we realized that it can only be limited to handling of drawings, handling of technical details of projects that are required to be delivered with. But design being a lot of, like I was mentioning earlier, also it is a lot of
Mm.
teamwork for us. It's a lot of sketching and discussion and debating that we do. even between two people or four people, we need to be in physical presence. So I think that side of the work is a bit slowed for us, but I think personally, if you ask my personal suggestion to other architects also, see, we all are in a situation, we're in a situation before this pandemic broke. We all were in a situation where we are constantly delivering every single day, right?
Hmm.
So we are hardly left with any time to reflect upon what we're doing.
Correct. Yeah.
So we are in this rush to deliver every single day, every single moment. There are what you say deadlines to be met, and we tend to make most out of the time that we were given. And every
Correct.
architect, I'm sure, has this complaint that I don't have time. Every
Yeah.
professional has this
Yeah.
complaint. Now, I would say just look into this aspect of probably not delivering, but reflecting on to what's been done until now and what could be done
Hmm.
better, because now you are given unlimited time. Like it at
Yeah.
least looks like there's a lot of time in our hands now.
Correct. Yeah.
Then delivering, probably I think we all should concentrate on looking into what's been done, but what we actually want to do, what we've been doing, and what we want to do in future. Probably these thoughts could, you know, working on these aspects looks, future looks very bright for me.
Hmm.
Working on
Yeah.
those aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if the situation continues to be this bad, I think we should gear up to, gear up with work from home situation, even in design aspects. We have to figure out ways and means to do that, probably apps and gadgets to do that. Yeah.
Technology will surely help us out,
Yeah.
guide us out.
But I'm sure for being a third world nation, even now developing nation, uh, reflections of our market doesn't look that bad. At least
Correct. Yeah.
projections also doesn't look that bad. So stay hopeful. All that I can say.
Exactly how Nilesh sir threw like more light on the technology part of it. I think Shrikant sir, you have pretty much answered the question in terms of how you see the situation as, and use it more as an opportunity to probably address a lot of things you always wanted to address and complained about. I mean, there are no excuses now, right?
Yeah.
And like I would like to like kind of concentrate more on the technology part of it. Like there are talks, like I know no matter how hopeful we want to be about the situation, there is still this talk about diseases like this coming in waves. So we might have to go back in lockdown. I'm not telling it's going to be a crisis situation next time, but we'll be more used to it. But this is more of us getting more used to working from home, and home becoming a more important workspace than before. So, I mean, even though we know that we are not as productive at home as much as an office when we are sitting with the entire team and delivering with our projects. So, what can be done? Like, are we just waiting for the next app to solve our problems, or are there simpler solutions to get things done, or we should just wait and see? What is the light? Throw some light on the technology part of it. How can that help us?
See, until now, I think, yeah, Nilesh, you want to answer this?
As in, there is, yeah, technology will only be the solution. Maybe there are no simpler solutions as such. But yeah, I don't see any other solution where you want to come together and work. Then technology
Yeah.
is the only way where you can do it. Otherwise, I doing a design, sending it at a mail, ask them to check, revert back. So that particular process is a little more difficult to produce a right solution, is what I feel with
Correct.
our
Yeah.
practice, our kind of practice.
Hmm. But another important aspect is even if we somehow find a way to get a functional process to do this mail and call related things to finish the design and some drawing part of it. The work, as far as I understand, is not anyways going to start on site for most of the projects, other than
Yeah.
like public domain projects and things like that. And also our reliance on the whole labor industry, that's in a huge crisis right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not able to see sitting at our homes, but as far as I understand and see the news, it's been thrown like a crisis, and we are very reliant on that industry. And going forward, there might be a crisis situation where people don't come back to the cities also for some time. So uh, I mean,
Now,
importance on labor, and how is that going to you know
this in this particular case, there are two segments. One is interiors, and the other is architecture, as in building
correct.
construction part of it. Now, when it comes to the interiors part, there is other segment which is very well growing, is industries. Now, recently we have visited a few expos where we have seen there are industries who do the whole work in the factory. The whole of interiors is factory finished. It only comes to the site after everything is done, and they just install everything on site and leave. So there's not too much of labor which will be working on site.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be ways which we can solve a certain entity, certain segment, uh, 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 where we can get a solution for it. But when it comes to construction on site, building up, so I guess it will take a little more, and we have to change our construction techniques and technologies.
See, I think India being a labor intensive market and
Correct.
excluding labor out of
The
work or
equation might be a problem.
might be a problem. Now, I'm sure we all agree on this that social distancing is not the solution that we have to look at the future to be in, right? It has to be practiced for a time frame until we get the vaccine out
Correct.
or the cure out, right?
Mm.
Uh, I think by large, not just construction or design industry, any other industry, anything, infrastructure, automobile, or anything, fashion industry, none of these industries can thrive with social distancing or these isolation things in place. They can't thrive.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm sure the healthcare segment and pharmaceutical segment is putting in all their efforts to either crack a cure or vaccine for sure.
Mm.
But until that time, probably we have to be more watchful about how we conduct our businesses.
Mm.
For sure, there'll be a little trouble in handling the construction activities on site. Even if the desk job, design job, can be handled with one or two gadgets or softwares. But construction is something that we need to be a little more watchful about.
Mm.
We are seeing right now that the road laying and flyover works are going on in city with social distancing being in place.
Mm.
Government is taking up construction of the infrastructure because it's the best time for them to do.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So I am sure we will come up with solutions to carry forward construction, interiors, and all this, which is labor intensive, with some more principles or bylaws being in place.
So another like putting the labor industry aside, another very important question I thought would be a perfect question for you is, since you're very extensively involved with commercial entities all around the city, um, an architect's role in the business sustainability of small and medium scale businesses, because I mean, it's affecting us, like I told you before the talk. And I mean, obviously when you are given a budget or not given a budget for your bar or a certain institute or a certain commercial space you're designing, you do think about how to break it down, and how can you bring it further down. And now maybe probably people will be more focused on how can we make it more cost effective. It might be that might be a probability. So what is our role? Like, should we be involved in the business side of it, not like extensively, but at least make sure we are sensitive to that situation and help each other out over here, or how does that work?
100%. I think you only understand the requirements, clients' requirements completely aspects of it, right? We
Yeah,
can't keep away the budgetary issues or limit our understanding of how the budgets work of a project. We can't do that. We need to understand it in complete sense to only then we'll be able to come up with solutions that are apt,
correct.
that makes it sustainable, right? So, and these things change. Like for example, you're setting up a fashion boutique in Hyderabad, or you're setting up a restaurant or a bar in Hyderabad. There, you get the data. If you look at the data of what these outlets yield in Hyderabad's market, you will understand what should be your maximum limit of spending.
Hmm.
The same thing if you're setting up in Delhi or Bangalore, it has a different dynamics,
Correct.
right? So the limitations might vary until and unless we understand in its fullest. Like one of our projects that we're working on, client was a little more conscious about the size of the bar counter.
Hmm.
He said, so we were looking into why. We asked him why. He said, the bigger the bar counter is, the more number of bartenders I have to employ.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
the more, and bartenders are a little bit expensive force than a server or a boy, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And they come with licenses and all that. So until then, we didn't know what
Hmm.
could be the impact of having a long bar counter, a large bar counter,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
If you break down, he was also breaking down about the SFT that is allocated for tables which make this much of business, and the
Hmm.
SFT could maximum make only this amount of business.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So all of these kind of understandings are very much required for you to come up with solutions, right solutions.
Hmm.
You have to be engaged with how the place functions to how what are the finances involved.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just not FNB, it can be anything
Correct. Yeah.
until and unless you
I
have
think going forward,
somebody.
it becomes more important because many establishments might get more sensitive to,
Yeah,
establishments are already very sensitive to it, but things get more tight now because, your margins are tight and there's so
correct,
much skepticism in the field, and you
correct,
don't know when things are going to change.
correct.
So, yeah. Uh, Sir, I think to wrap it up, one last, probably one of the most important questions in the entire conversation is so there's a lot of talk about, I think this has been partly answered, but there is a lot of talk about this being a major disruptor to the market, how the real estate industry is going to change, how the construction industry is going to change. And then what is the global situation? What is the local Indian situation? Like you said, India is not so far not as much affected like other countries. Then what can we do as a fraternity and a community to, I'm not telling probably even as a social cause, but also how can we professionally affect the community and fraternity to, come out of the situation together and work together to get out of this, because we can't be, this is not the time to be more self-centric and, only think about ourselves and our sustainability. Partly you need to think about that, protect yourselves before you start protecting others, but also have the intention to protect people around you. So to wrap up the question, it's more about how is this going to disrupt our practices, what is the global and local scenarios looking like, and what can we do as a community and fraternity to be a part and help in this situation.
I think the disturbance that this particular situation gets into our profession is, I see it as a little temporary, but
Hmm.
this is the longest period of time that world has been in lockdown
Hmm. Hmm.
after in the known history of the world, right? But the repercussions of this would be there for sure. But I don't think that's something that we need to worry about a large, right? So we'll definitely come out of this very soon, hopefully. Um, so yes, of course, there'll be hard times for construction industry and design industry that we need to be prepared of. Cut down your expenses as an organization. Cut down your expenses. Try to make most out of minimum resources. By saying so, I'm not talking about firing people, but probably making people understand what the situation is like, and also prepare your staff to handle this thing along with the company. Certain measures like this would definitely help to cope up with the situation. But I don't see it to be too much of a worry that gives you sleepless nights types, as of now, at least. And coming to global and our local situation, as we all know that India is not two things. One is India is our country is the biggest platform for entrepreneurs. We have small and medium scale businesses quite a lot compared to any other country,
Correct.
and most of them are self built businesses, not through angel investors or bank investments, right? So it's
Correct.
easier for such people to cope up with it because they don't have debt on their head. Probably they'll face hardships as an organization for a certain period of time, but they'll not get stuck into debt kind of situations, right? So
Understood.
I
Yeah.
think with certain measures, we all can come out of it very easily. Probably the residential, high-rise residential or group housing segment might take a little hit because the customers are uh, customers their customers are by large dependent on the bank loans, and finance segment takes a big hit now. Obviously, the first segment that takes a big hit in any natural calamity is finance segment, banking segment. Now, only one or two segments I would say are worrisome, but India being by large small and medium scale business country, I think will come out of it pretty soon. Yeah.
I think there's a small extension to this because like we discussed before, many students would be watching this going forward. We did talk about portfolios very early on in the conversation on what professional practices look for in portfolios and all of that. But coming back to this, how is this situation going to affect the absorption of students into the industry, especially internships to junior architects? I mean, not to be negative about it in any way, but maybe this is a time to start relooking at also portfolios in terms of it being probably skill based, because firms might start thinking about, okay, I need to really concentrate on youngsters also coming into the practice who have certain strong skills, and it's not just about what kind of works they have done in a college. So is this situation also going to affect the hiring process of people
Mm,
coming in?
But
I Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, but as Srikant was talking about, so this
Hmm.
particular situation is temporary, as in,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
uh, because once things get normal and everything will
Correct.
become normal. But now the situation, this particular time of 2 to 3 months, 1 month now and 2 to 3 months after this, is the only situation which will be that, and everything is under pause. So I don't think because seeing our situation where we are getting portfolios almost 6 to 7 portfolios every day, as in 2 to 3 days we are getting so many portfolios.
Hmm, hmm,
Now when I spoke to few
hmm,
students,
hmm,
so they are also saying the same thing, that every office what they have talked to have asked them to
hmm,
wait for 1 2 months, and then only they will be able
hmm,
to
hmm.
apply
Makes
for it.
sense.
Because
Right.
there are in our office also, there's not all of them are working. There are only few people few architects
Hmm.
who are working
Hmm.
on their projects, which is in the drawing stage only, are working on it. So
Right.
we couldn't. So now every office is in the same situation. When I spoke to few of my friends, also are in the same situation where they are not ready to take more people into their
Hmm.
field. So presently, in the case of students, I guess they should not be much worried about it, because now the whole world is in the same situation. So it is more to take pause for some time, and hopefully in 2 to 3 months everything will come
Gets back to normal.
back to
I
normal.
think post lockdown also,
Hmm.
I don't think fresh graduates or students would have any difficulty in finding a job or finding a placement, because their pay package would not be too high for
Right.
organizations
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
to think twice to take them on board.
Hmm.
Who should worry about is people who are with high pay packages and the organization not being able to afford them,
Because
right?
they have also become a little redundant
Correct.
in the present
So
scenario. So it's more of the senior based people who should be worried.
so I don't
Uh,
think if any student is watching this, a fresh graduate is watching this, right? You can be chilled out. You don't need to worry
So it's
about this
only
situation.
about allocation of work which is an issue for
uh,
offices to the fresh
hmm.
graduates. Otherwise,
Correct.
there's
Yeah.
no other issue as such.
It
I
also
think.
depends on the strategy of the company, also how they look at it. Few companies might stop taking in fresh graduates and work with very limited seniors they have. Few companies might look at taking a lot of fresh graduates and limit the seniors. So it also depends on.
Sir, I think more than anything, the message you gave before in the conversation about use this, wait out the storm, use this
Hmm.
period to, kind of build yourself up personally.
Yeah,
Use this time for what you've always wanted to do, to
correct.
get yourself organized and all that. I think that applies for students also. Even if this is a
Yeah,
period which extends for 2 to 3 months,
yeah,
you have more time to, bring your things together.
yes,
So I think use the free time as effectively as possible for
yeah,
positive things and
yeah,
keep hope for things coming
yes,
forward. I
yes,
think that's the we can sum it up with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's the mantra now.
yeah, that's so like thank you so much. I think we have planned this out to be a 25-minute talk, but if I look at the time now, it's like 1 hour 10 minutes or
Oh,
15 minutes.
always happens with us.
I
But
told
but
you.
it's
I told
unfair
you.
to compress this kind of a conversation. So thank you so much. It's been extremely informative, and I'm sure it will help so many people who'll be watching this. So for people who don't still know much about both the companies involved, Shrikant and Nilesh are principal designers of 23 Degrees Design Shift. Check them out. They have a website. I think it's 23dds.com if I'm not wrong. They have a
Yes.
social media page also. We'll be putting the link down in the description when we put the post out. And this is organized by Juxtapose, and it's a junction series of talks which we are planning to do going forward. This is the first of them. So again, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Thank
and
you,
Akshay.
Akshay. Thank
looking
you,
forward to
Thanks a
Juxtapose.
lot.
yeah,
Thank you.
Stay home, stay safe.
Stay safe,
yeah,
all
same
of you.
here.
Yeah, cool.
Bye.
See you. Bye.